Welcome back to the show. The Seahawks are coming off a very busy weekend. They wrapped up their draft class with 9 picks, but they did not draft a new quarterback. So to break it all down, what it means, I'm joined by Terry Holliman as we fly into the Hawk Zone. All right, so overall, what are your first impressions of the Seahawks draft?
Well, a lot of people are saying this is a great draft for the Seahawks. You know, it wasn't really sexy. We didn't get the splashy players that everybody looks to be excited about. No quarterback, no big name receiver, but we got exactly what the Seahawks needed to address for a long time. Some offensive linemen, an edge rusher, and they actually got a running back out of this class.
Okay, so and that's super important because without that, you can't have the rest of it. So, speaking of offensive line, let's talk about their first pick, Charles Cross.
Yeah, Charles Cross, yeah. He's a big road grader out of the South, Mississippi State, the SEC, where they love big offensive linemen, and that's exactly what we needed. Actually, Russell Wilson was the one complaining about the offensive line for a long time, and we finally got what we wanted after he leaves the system, okay?
He's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, no kidding, but this guy is a big guy. I was hoping he was going to be available at 9. The draft had probably 2 or 3 guys that were ready to go right now at that position, and he's one of them. 6'5", 310 pounds, but they call him Sweet Feet because in college he had very good, nimble, athletic feet, which allowed him to stay in front of defenders. So he'll be a good addition to this program.
He'll be interesting to watch play. I'm excited. Their next pick in round 2 was Boye Muffet. Some people are comparing him to our friend Cliff Averill.
Yeah, he is. He's long, lean. He's really quick off the start. He's a guy that is able to get to the quarterback, and he's done a great job coming from where he went in college, Minnesota, at getting after the quarterback, stopping the run game. So he's going to be a good addition. The Seahawks need a little help coming off the edge because they've lost a couple guys in that position.
Also in the second round, Michigan State running back Kenneth Walker III. Apparently this was a surprise to some. Why is that?
Well, it's a surprise because the Seahawks have a couple of really good running backs. They have Chris Carson, who has been a stalwart for the Seahawks for a long time, and then they also just re-signed Rashad Penny. So they have 2 really good running backs in the fold. But why would they go after a guy like Kenneth Walker? Because he's great. He was great in college. You've seen what he was able to do against some of the best competition in the country. Ohio State, he racked up 300 yards against those guys, 5 touchdowns against Michigan. He just is an incredible talent. And at the running back position, these guys get beat up so often. And, you know, they talk about tread on the tire. I know it's kind of, you know, inhumane to say, but these guys have so much tread on their tire that you need to have 2 or 3 guys in the fold that can do it.
You can replace him. That's actually it's a great analogy. There was also a local pick from Washington State, an offensive tackle by the name of Abraham Lucas. He's from Everett, and you know this gentleman.
Yes, I know Abe Lucas. So the story goes a little while back, my daughter used to play basketball with his sister. And I used to see Abe in the gym as just a little guy, right, running around with a basketball, and I used to say, Abe, man, you look like you could play football. And he would always say, no, I'm a basketball player. And then I ended up, coaching at Archbishop Murphy High School where he went, and I saw him walking around, and I was like, are you going to play football? And he was like, nah, I'm going to play basketball. I was like, you better get out here and play football. Long story short, it worked out for him, obviously.
So you're responsible for this,
I'm taking credit for it. I'm taking credit for it. I'm asking for a check.
At least take him out to lunch, Abe.
Ticket.
All right, Seahawks are getting mostly positive marks overall for this draft class, but no quarterback. That's the one thing we can't ignore. Are you surprised about this, or do you know something we don't know?
I don't know anything that you don't know. I promise you I don't.
I don't know about that.
I do. So I do know this. I know they did need it. They're looking at the quarterback position very seriously because you lose Russell Wilson, obviously the greatest quarterback in this franchise's history. But there wasn't really a quarterback in this draft that you could pick out and say that is a franchise quarterback. There was one actual quarterback selected in the first round, and there wasn't another one picked until middle of the 3rd round. So there wasn't a big bevy of quarterbacks available. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to work with what they have right now. You're talking about the Drew Lock and Geno Smith, and let those guys kind of work it out.
So that's what you think is going to happen in the offseason. They're going to be working with the clay they will mold, not to be.
Yeah, you got to dance with the one that brought you to the dance, right? So they're going to work with Drew Lock, and they're going to work with Geno Smith. We saw what he was able to do last year. He's a veteran. And then they also have Jacob Eason as well as a 3rd backup. But I'm sure they'll probably even bring somebody else in to compete for that position.
Well, we will see. We will have you to help us.
I'll be here.
Identify it. All right. Thank you so much, Terry.
No problem.
All right. Well, thank you for spending time with us today. You can check our website for more of our content. You can always send us an email to share your thoughts. And always, don't forget, go out and enjoy your new day. We'll see you next time.